Episode 5 of Moon Knight. This is the penultimate episode, the episode before the season finale. I feel like I should be like, oh my god, this episode was amazing! And I'm just like, eh. Welcome to my safe game. What was that? Welcome to my safe game, everyone. Thank you guys for joining me and clicking on another video here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, thank you so much. Let me introduce myself. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. And I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk about superheroes. I like to talk about video games. I like to talk about comic books. I like to talk action movies. I like to talk sci-fi. I like to talk fantasy. And of course, I like to talk black representation and queer representation. Because if you couldn't tell, I am both. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you enjoy having there be representation here in the YouTube movie and television show review space, do me a favor, hit the like button. It'll help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, do me another favor and hit the subscribe button. If you think you're subscribed, check the subscribe button to see if you are subscribed, because I see that 35% of you are watching my videos but aren't subscribed. So please, 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 if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. Let this channel grow. Because as I always say, representation matters and representation equals normalization. So let's represent for all the queer nerds, especially the black queer nerds out there in the creative content creation space. Because there is definitely a place for us in fandom, even if we have to make that space for ourselves. The straight agenda will not win. But anyway, speaking of straight agenda, we're here to talk about the straight character known as Moon Knight. And this episode, episode 5, the penultimate episode, is called Asylum. And the synopsis for Asylum is: Mark and Steven search through their memories to find the truth or get left behind. And I also apologize to everyone for not going live to talk Moon Knight last week or even this week. There's just a lot of hecticness and craziness and last minute running around and errands and all this stuff going on. Yeah, it's just been a crazy 2 weeks. You'll get more information if you're interested in that by following me on Instagram and my other social medias. What's been happening. But yeah, some very exciting stuff coming up. Not so much for the channel, but just for me personally. But yeah, follow me on Instagram for more. Yeah, so be on the lookout. But anyway, and I pretty much said this for every single Marvel show. They need more episodes to tell these stories. Not only just more episodes, they need to increase the length. Because that was the same thing I said about WandaVision. Like, especially as they got to the later episodes and they got out of the sitcom element. I'm like, these episodes they need to be an hour as opposed to a half hour every single episode. Because WandaVision also had 9 episodes. And I still felt like there was still a lot left on the table, because as they started to get, like I said, as they started to get more into the real world, every single episode was still less than a half hour. And I'm like, no, there's still more story. So then when you get to episode 9, it still felt rushed because you only had a half hour. If WandaVision was an hour and it also had 9 episodes, I felt like it would have been perfect. And obviously, yes, I know COVID happened and it got into the way of certain storylines and things got cut, but I still think WandaVision could have did better if it had more than a half hour in those later episodes. And it's the same thing I felt with like Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. Not in the sense of like those shows were about an hour-ish, 45 minutes, 50 minutes-ish. But there's only 6 episodes, and every single show, I feel like they're just rushing to the end. And I feel this way about this show. Like as an episode in and of itself, I really enjoyed this episode. But considering there's only 1 episode left, I'm like, this episode left a lot on the table. And there's a lot that needs to be wrapped up and done in this final episode. And obviously, I don't know what I don't know. But this is like, what, the 6th Marvel show now? I don't know. I just feel I'm going to be disappointed by the end. Oh, and if you couldn't tell from the title of this episode, I am talking spoilers, by the way, just in case you didn't get that. But like I said, obviously I don't know what I know because I haven't seen the final episode yet. But like, Layla still has to figure out a way to free Khonshu. We're still dealing with Harrow and the gods. What about the other gods that
that imprisoned Khonshu. I feel like we also haven't gotten enough of Layla and her story. And then also, we're only one episode left. We only have one episode left, and we still don't really fully have an inclination or really got to meet the third personality of Jake Lockley. Now, with that said, for those of you that didn't know and watched this episode, Jake did show up for a brief second in the asylum when he was talking to Dr. Harrow, and the moment where Oscar Isaacs, Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and Jake Lockley, that one body where he picked up like the little paperweight and he was about to stab himself in the eye, that was Jake, the third personality that they've been teasing since episode 3. If you missed it, go back and watch. You also hear, like, Oscar Isaac is killing it in this role. Like, his accent and mannerisms and all of that changed when he became Jake. Like, I instantly knew it was a different character. And considering this whole episode was about unpacking Mark's trauma, part of that trauma is this third personality. We haven't even gotten anything from this third personality. And then I also kind of feel like there just wasn't enough backstory with regards to Mark, because we see, like with most people, he developed his DID as a child as a form and as a response to trauma, mostly inflicted by his mother. But yet, like, how did that affect him in his day-to-day life? Like, we saw the one moment where he was an adult and he went to his mother's funeral, but then he ended up not going because Steven showed up. But like, I want to know more about how the DID affected him. And then we also have the stuff with Tara Wedded, the CGI, like all of that was cool to see, but I don't know, I just felt like it got in the way of what I actually wanted to see, the backstory of Mark. And yeah, I don't know, I just feel like with this show dealing with literal gods, I'm not really feeling the stakes. Like, they even mentioned like all the falling souls or whatever what Harrow was doing is coming to the Hades or whatever the Egyptian hell is, and it's affecting everything, and I'm just like, I don't feel the danger. Like, it's just, I just feel like stuff is happening just because even with that, like Harrow, we're not seeing what he's doing. We haven't cut to Harrow. We don't see him enabling his hectic evil plot. It's just we're being told about what he's doing and how it's affecting everything. But it's like, how is it affecting everything? Like, yeah, I don't feel the stakes. I don't feel the plot. I don't feel the dread. And also with regards to like the idea of representation, like Mark Spector is Jewish in the comics, and his Jewish nature and religion is very important to the character. Like, it's very much tied to his character in the comics. I mean, hell, comics were created by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. The people that created Superman, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. And while, yeah, in this episode, we got to see I think it's called a yarmulke on his head to show he is Jewish. And he also, in certain episodes, has a Star of David necklace around his neck. But, like, his Jewishness doesn't seem to be that important in the MCU. And that's something, like, I've noticed a lot of Jewish creators are criticizing Marvel's, particularly with regards to a lot of their characters. Like, think about, like, WandaVision. Like, Scarlet Witch she's not Romani, Elizabeth Olsen. She's a white woman. Wanda is a Romani, and she's Jewish. But yeah, in I think Civil War, she had like a cross in her bedroom. And like, yeah, so I know a lot of Jewish creators are criticizing that as well. So I'm like, I would feel remiss of a person that talks about representation and I don't at least bring that up, especially when it's been brought to my attention. And especially since in the comics, just like Daredevil's Catholicism, Mark Spector's Judaism is just as important. Just like Ben Grimm, Judaism is just as important to the character in the comics. So it's like, yeah, where's the more representation for that? But anyway, like, yeah, just in terms of the episode of itself, like, I'm still like not, this show is not, it's leaving me intrigued, but it's not making me want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch it. Part of me is just like, I'll watch it when I watch it. Like, even this latest episode, I was like, everybody's talking about Moon Knight online, and I was just like, I'll watch it when I get off of work. So I watched it the next day at like 5 p.m. And it's just not even so much about the lack of action or the fact that there's not a whole lot of superhero. Like, I'm good with it. Like, if it's a character-based and driven story, I'm good with that. But I just feel like there's a lot being left on the table and not being explained with only 6 episodes. And it's only 6 episodes, like I mentioned. We still haven't met Jake. We still don't know everything that's going on with the gods and Harrow and all that. We still don't know Layla's backstory. And then also, like, this is something that left me a little confused. And this is more of a, not so much for the show in and of it's like the show, but more of the writing. I was a little confused by, because, like, I don't have DID. I don't know anybody with DID. I've read about it, and I've also seen a lot of, and of course, every show embellishes what DID actually is. DID is a real mental condition, and shows, of course, embellish it for the sake of entertainment. But at the same time, I do feel like they take some semblance of reality of what DID is. And based on what I've read for DID, and this confused me, so anybody that actually knows more could maybe explain it to me, but this like kind of threw me off with regards to the show. Most of the time when people go or experience DID, obviously the alters come about based on forms of extreme trauma, and the alters develop to protect the main personality, the original personality, from that trauma. And so because of that, the original personality does not remember all of the trauma that they went through. The alters are the ones that a lot of times took the brunt of the trauma, took the brunt of the pain and the suffering, and they were created to shield that personality from that. So a lot of times, like, the original personality will have blackouts. They don't remember certain aspects of their life. They may have, so basically what happened to Steven, like him remembering his mother a certain way, him not remembering the beatings and all that, I feel like that should have been Mark, the main personality. And Steven should have been the alter to protect him from, like, that's the whole purpose of an alter, to protect you from the truth. But yet Steven didn't know the truth, but Mark knew the truth, but yet Steven's not the main personality, Mark is. That kind of confused me, because I would think about things like United States of Terror, which I think did a very interesting approach to DID. All of the main personalities knew what Tara's trauma was, but Tara herself didn't know. Or a movie like Identity, or Legion, or One Life to Live, all of these other shows that dealt with DID. The one common denominator was the main personality was shielded from all the trauma. It was the alters that knew and were created to protect them from the trauma. But in this case, I don't know, that confused me. So yeah, if anybody has more information on that, I don't know if it's just for the sake of the show or what, I don't know. I was just a little thrown off by that. But yeah, but anyway, I'm still curious to see how it ends, and hopefully, you know, it ends great and everybody. Yeah, I'm just like, to take a line from Young Justice, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm not underwhelmed, I'm just whelmed. So yeah, Moon Knight episode 5. Maybe this is a controversial review, because people are like, oh, you hate everything, whatever. Anyway, so regardless, what did you guys think about episode 5 of Moon Knight? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay, just like I did? Let me know your thoughts regardless in the comment section below. Be respectful, because no opinion is fact. Every opinion is subjective. Whether you loved it, hated it, or thought it was meh, it's all opinion. So let me know your opinions. Keep it respectful. Also, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.